Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Ike MMA podcast or the Ike MMA show, whichever you prefer. And I have here joining me in studio today on the podcast, Spanish mixed martial arts fighter that recently turned pro, um, and and Sanchez. Am I pronouncing it correctly?
Yes,
Perfect.
Ander Sanchez. Uh,
Good.
Hello.
How are you feeling, Hernandez? How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm really good. And you?
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. I know English isn't your first language, but still, so far, I mean, from the dialogue that we're sharing online on Instagram, and even just a few minutes we've been conversing on Zoom here, your English seems pretty sound. I mean, it's not gonna be perfect in your first language, but it seems okay. Seems all right.
First, sorry for my bad English. It's difficult for me because I don't really good student to English.
But that's okay. I mean, so far I'm happy that I'm understanding you, and you seem fairly fluent. So look, where should I start? Yeah, I mean, the your most recent fight against Kavanaugh wasn't it didn't go the way that you had planned, and didn't go the way that your corner would have planned, but and planned and hoped. But tell me more about the fight you had beforehand at Cage Warriors 35, against Connor Wilson. That was a really good knockout, and the way you finished your opponent within the first round, within half a minute of the first round, it was a TKO, and he got the job done.
Thank you. Yeah. Uh, it was really cool for me because the first time in the Case Warriors win by KO is amazing, and I'm really happy. And the other fight with Kavanagh was a difficult fight, and I I lost, but I'm happy with the fight because I think I was a good fight to watch my two fight in professional.
Um, no, that's good. I understood everything you said. That how, I mean, did it feel? I mean, did you want to go in there and get a finish, get a win as soon as possible, or would you prefer to go the full, as in just the first round, but the remaining of the two, three, four, 5 rounds? Um, would you prefer to go in there, put on a performance and a show for people to watch, so you can show off your skills and really entertain the crowd and the fans? Or, are you happy with a TKO, that really a TKO is how this is just how things panned out, and unfortunately they panned out in your favor and you won the fight? Would you prefer to really for the fight to go on, for you to put on a good show for us, or are you happy with the TKO, how the whole thing ended?
I want prefer a fast win.
Yeah, no, I get that. I understand that, because that way you're sure of winning. And if the fight does go on for some time, things can take a turn for the worse in in your case, because of course then you could be on the losing streak, whereas your opponent will now have the upper hand and they potentially could win. I know, I understand all of that. Um, so look, I was looking at your fighting record, especially for your amateur fights. You've got a really good record. That I saw. Is it just, I think, one loss, but everything else, every other opponent, you more or less just walked through them.
Yeah, in amateur record is good because I think 11 fights is a little bit record. I want more fights in amateur uh, because I don't have more rivals here, and my team it's one go now to professional because I have 27 years, and they prefer go to professional now.
Could you explain that a
You
little bit? I
understand me?
mean,
No.
uh, not quite, not fully. If you could just kind of run through that just once more, as best as you can. I mean, do you mean that because you're now getting slightly older and getting well a little bit older, but now you're like in the prime, the height of your physical performance within as far as mixed martial arts is concerned, you really want to, as in, take things up a notch now and and go from amateur to professional, at least at your age now, now that you're 27, 28.
Yeah.
Uh, that's good. That's good. I understand that completely. Um, so I like to take things back a little bit, especially with athletes who I'm speaking to for the first time, uh, such as yourself. So where did the story of combat sports start for you, and how did you get into mixed martial arts, whether it was mixed martial arts or BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, kickboxing, judo? How did you get into the sport?
Um, I was started in kickboxing,
Mhm.
and this and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. The two times the same, kickboxing and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay. And when you said you started with kickboxing specifically.
Yes.
Um, was there any, as in, when you got into that, when you started that side of the sport, um, okay, it's not exactly you're not really you're not competing yet, but I mean, um, as you started with that and gradually you transition and you started to learn of the other dimensions of mixed martial arts, were there any concerns for injuries, as in concerns for your health? Anytime you might get a seriously a bad injury, such as a broken leg or arm in the cage, or even when you're sparring.
Um, I was competed in kickboxing, and I was compete the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I win in the two times. And I think I need go to MMA.
Uh,
And yeah.
Okay, I know that's not really what I asked. I asked that was a good answer, but it wasn't. You didn't really answer the question I was asking. What I was asking is that when you became interested in the sport and you started with kickboxing, and as you took it seriously and gradually started to compete or started to spar, were there any concerns, as in health concerns, from say family and friends, your loved ones and close friends? Were they fearful of things such as you being injured severely or seriously when you were partaking in a competition or just sparring and training?
uh, repeat, please.
Okay. Um, your mom and dad, sisters, brothers, family, were they scared that you were ever going to get seriously injured
Okay.
in the sport? Were there any concerns such as those raised by family?
When my family see my fight or sparring,
Well, both, but sparring and fighting, in the competitive sense, were there any concerns that you could be badly hurt?
uh, um, repeat, please. Yes, I don't understand really good.
Okay, okay. When you have you ever had any sort of injury, as in when you were
Okay.
yes, I
Really, I
mean,
don't. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Really, I don't have a lot of injuries in my
okay,
career. I don't have big injuries. I no.
okay, and so I'm assuming that family, mum and dad, brothers and sisters, but you're really close, family and friends. They were never afraid or scared or concerned for your health or um for you potentially being seriously injured.
Uh, no. My family don't scare to me because they have really happy with me when I fight. My brother fights and my mother she all the fight to me and my brother is and the worst I think if my mother see the sparring with my brother.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so let me move the conversation slightly further, or onwards anyway. Um, so you're preparing, say you got a fight prepared, likewise, the past two fights you had, how do you normally go about preparing for a fight? I know there's the obvious one, there's the fight camp, there's the training, there's the training and everything else, but you specifically, you and your team, how do you prepare for the fights and for making weight, nutrition? How do you go about doing all those things?
uh, my my team is really little because in my town no more MMA fighters, and I need go to the other teams to prepare my fights, and
Okay.
it's really difficult for me prepare really good and a fight.
You make it this question maybe really be silly. Hopefully, if you understand it, maybe a very silly question, very obvious question because the answer may be very obvious. But for you, in when you're preparing for a fight, when you've got an upcoming competition, for you, the preparation for the fight camp itself, which was the most difficult part of the fight camp for you to deal with?
Uh, the difficult part to the training camp.
The most, yes, the most
Okay.
difficult part. Yeah.
I think the good way because I love the food.
I knew you were gonna say that. Making weight, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because I love the food and I don't have put a lot weight, but I'm really strong and the
Mhm.
weight is difficult. I love the food.
No, I understand. Completely get you. Um, so for the last two fights that you had, which are your pro fights, um, did you have to make weight? And how much weight did you have to lose? Because I know in some cases, I won't repeat myself here for the people who do follow my podcast. Um, did you have to lose a lot of weight? Because I know for sometimes, depending on how much time you have between the time that you're preparing for the fight and the night of the fight itself, you only got so much time. So, as in, how much weight have you ever had to have lost in order to compete in a particular fight?
um, I think it depends. 6 or 5 kilos. No, a lot.
Okay,
Okay,
and
it's like to uh, 20 libras. Yeah,
you
maybe.
mean 20, 20 libras, or is that?
I think.
Now I'm trying to understand you. 20, you mean 20 libras as in Libra, or you mean 20 pounds, 20
Uh,
kg? I don't think 20,
yeah,
20 kg.
6 or 5 kilos.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
No, I understand. I understand what you mean. Um, so have you, when it comes to making the weight itself, do you, as in do you go through a drastic reduction in calories? Do you use the saunas a lot, or do you do lots of fasted conditioning?
Um, can you repeat, please?
Now, when it comes to making the weight, as in what sort of techniques would you go about? Because I know there's a lots of things that fighters do. I'm assuming different fighters would do things different ways to just because basically they're all depending on their body type, they're all going to do things slightly differently to the next athlete. So for you yourself, when it comes to losing that weight, having to make that weight to in order to compete for the upcoming fight, as in you yourself, do you reduce your calories drastically? Do you use saunas? or do you, as in, do lots of faster cardio in the mornings before you train?
Um, the it's fast for me. I lost fast.
You do okay, so you do fasted cardio as that's in first thing in the morning, no breakfast, no food, nothing. You may have some coffee or tea, and then you
Yeah,
go for a long run or for a long bike ride, something like that.
yes.
Okay,
No, no eat a lot coffee, and yeah, a lot training.
sure thing. So in future, I think at the moment you are signed to Cage Warriors, the Cage Warriors themselves.
In the future,
No. I mean, in future, but I was going to say in future, what the future holds for you. But at the moment, sorry if that did come out wrong. At the moment, you're signed to Cage Warriors as one of their fighters. You're on the Cage Warriors roster.
yeah. Now I uh, I I want to my next fight soon. Um, uh, I want all the fighters, all the rivals. I want fight now. I want fight soon.
I know what you mean because fighters, you guys want to stay active, so you don't suffer from what they call ring rust. And the more active you are, the better the chance you have of performing well in the fight and winning that fight.
Yeah.
So you're on Cage Warriors now, but in future, would you have but would you like to move to any of the bigger promotions? And if you did move to any of the bigger promotions, which one of the big names, the bigger mainstream promoters, would you like to compete in?
The big names in the promotion.
Yeah, which one of those big names would you like to fight in?
I don't know. I don't know.
Really? So even now, um, because a lot of fighters could tell me not that means anything negative for you, but um, because a lot of fighters I've spoken to, they were able to tell me almost immediately which of the names they would like to fight in, and some even said some other names, not the obvious one being the UFC, but even now you still haven't really quite gauged or made up your mind of which of the big names you'd like to see yourself fighting in.
But I think don't understand really good. You you said me that the other promotions, big names. I want, yeah.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that in the future, you're 27 years
In
old
in
now,
in
so
in the future, you say me in the
yeah,
future. Okay.
say in the next three.
Yeah. The big dream, the UFC is the big dream, the big name. No.
Okay, yes. Now you gave me an answer that I saw could kind of foresee saying, yeah, I can understand. So, but then again, I try and somehow throw a spanner in the works, and I ask you, there's UFC, fine, but there's also Bellator, there's also PFL, there's also one championship. But I think one championship might require you to probably move somewhere to the Far East, which is closer to where a lot of the events are held. Um, so a toss between the UFC and Bellator. The UFC, there's still the issue of fighters' pay. People are still heckling Dana White to pay the fighters more than what they're worth. And on the other side, they have Bellator, where Scott Coker will pay the fighters what they're worth. The fighters are really looked after, but of course, you won't be that famous. Um, doesn't that tempt you to go to another organization whereby financially, salary wise, you will be looked after and you'll earn what you feel is your worth, or rather than going to a promoter that is known? And I don't need to bash anyone here in the UFC or anything like that. The UFC, whereby they are notorious for not paying the fighters properly, and to the extent whereby some of their fighters, because they're bringing so much money, they let them get away with so many things.
Yeah. They the other promotions can be good and can could be pay more. but I want to go to the UFC because it's my big dream. UFC is the for me to the best.
Mm.
The pay could be better in the other promotion because I want to go to the UFC. Yeah.
Your heart is set on the UFC. Okay, no, that's understandable. Yeah, I think every other fighter, even me, if excuse me, if I was an active and competing mixed martial arts fighter, I'd probably say the same thing. I'd probably have the same sort of mindset. Um, yeah, I was going to ask you. I've never really spoken to any fighters that are based in Spain or outside of the UK or the US or any other country that is known for one particular form of a combat sport. But what is the mixed martial arts scene like in Spain? Is it as big or as mainstream as it is in the US or here in the UK? I mean, it's of course it's much much bigger in the US than it's here in the UK, but Spain in particular, what's the scene, the fight scene like there?
Uh, the martial arts in Spain.
Not the fight scene, as in is mixed martial arts as popular and is it as well
Yeah.
followed
Un
as it is in the
momento.
US?
Sorry. Uh, repeat, please.
What I'm saying is that the fight scene in Spain is it
Yeah.
anywhere near as big and as popular as it is in the US or even here in the UK where I'm based? Is it as
Uh,
popular? Is it really popular over there?
no, it's I think it's popular and but in other countries it's more popular. In Spain is now grow up because now is not a lot popular like to other countries.
So it's not as popular as
Uh,
mainstream.
un segundo, dime. Ok, ahora abajo. Sorry. The Martis, the homies go to the train.
Okay.
Oh,
Do they want
sorry.
you to leave at the moment?
What?
Do they need you to go?
Yeah, I need to go to the train.
Okay. Well, look. All I wanted to ask to just clarify is that the fight scene in Spain, it's popular. Would you say it's still growing? It still hasn't reached the or attained the level of popularity is that it's managed to attain in the UK and the US. It's not as popular as it is here.
Yeah, is popular because in the other countries is more popular than here.
And thank you so much for coming on the show. And your English is pretty good. No, it's good. I mean, it's not your first language, but I'm impressed. It's good.
Uh,
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And yes, if you like this episode, please don't forget to like and share and to subscribe to the channel. Anders, I'll let you go on your way. And thank you so much for
thank you
coming
very
on.
much. Thank you very
Take care.
much.